All right, we're back. Sorry, the call fucked it up. So anyway, back to my matchup. So David Johnson was active this week, and was active last week. He practiced more than he did the week before when he got 27 points. So I knew he was dinged up. I even thought about benching him for Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Just because I didn't know, and I watched some of that game, and even though he was getting the ball, he didn't have any like lateral agility. It was just straightforward, him running through holes. He got a few touchdowns in that, and that made his day. But I could just tell he didn't look right. He looks hurt. So I almost started Josh Jacobs. I ran him out there. Of course, David Johnson is on the field for like 3 snaps. He gets 1 carry for like 0 yards. He freaking bagels me. I had been debating my 3rd wide receiver slot the whole week. I had Valdez-Scantling in there, who was hurt. Everybody was saying he's probably going to be inactive. And he hadn't been doing crap. So I was like, all right, kick this guy to the curb. Dante Pettis, who had been, all the offseason BS with the coaches saying that he wasn't focused, he needed to earn a wide receiver 1 spot. Then him getting like on the play or on the field for 1 play in the first week. He's been gradually building. I think he had like 6 or 7 targets the week before. He got like 4 yards or 4 catches for like 50 yards, and I think he had a red zone look, or he got tackled at the 1 or 2 like twice or something like that. So everything was looking good. They were up against Washington. I think they're like 31st against wide receivers. And then I flip on red zone, like one of the first shots they show, it's a freaking monsoon in Washington.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell? Why do I like passively watch Fantasy Now or whatever before? It's for like last minute crap. Like you couldn't, I didn't hear anything about the weather. Did you hear anything about the weather before the game?
I did not.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the weather until Nick Bosa was sliding along tackling
I feel like
quarterbacks.
every year there's the weather game that catches, well, it caught me out. I know it's caught other analysts out before. They're like, oh yeah, weather's a thing. We need to check it, because I mean the other guy I was considering was Philip Dorsett, who got like 3 or 4 for 50 and a touchdown. In Valdez-Scantling, active, 2 for 133 and a touchdown. He got like 20 points. So I mean, Anthony said he came for the tilt last week. Here's your fucking tilt, man. This is me tilting. I'm pulling my hair out. I mean, I have a playoff streak. I've never missed the playoffs in the mixer, and I'm 2-5.
It's about to happen.
I've never even been below 500 in the mixer. I'm 2-5. My daughter's not making the right picks.
You should start prepping for that lower bracket.
I mean, sure. Like, I'm married. I have a decent job. I have the unconditional love of my child. But
do you?
Where can I can't put that on a shelf like I could put the Dirk on a shelf. Like, none of that means anything to me. I need the Dirk. I need it to validate myself.
It's not happening this year.
You just said everybody was still in it.
Well, okay, everybody but Rob. Sean's got a better chance.
All right, you heard it here officially. The Dun chain is around my neck for the rest of the year.
I'm doing this every week until the playoffs. Well, maybe not every week, but Rob,
pencil emoji.
You can just cross him out for the playoffs. Write that down.
Oh man, should we water bet that?
It's up to you.
Oh, fuck. Okay, water bet. I will make the playoffs somehow, some way. I am gonna claw and
you're last in
fight
points?
my way. Yeah, but I mean, I'm like 40 points off whoever would be in the playoffs. So I mean, you see Matt rise up. He gets 162 this week. You know, it only takes like 1 or 2 showings like that, and I'll be right back in it. So
okay, I'm glad you're optimistic.
I'm optimistic. You know, I've been in this situation before in other leagues, and I've pulled it off. So yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks. All right, let's get into that. That wraps up the matchup. So I'm 2-5. Jake, congrats, 3-4. I hate you. All right, so for our non-matchup segment, our little special segment this week, you know, I'm hating a lot of players on my team at the moment, but you know, I'd love to have them. So maybe a la Matt Berry a little bit. Love to hate. I wanted us to come up with a list of players that we either love in the NFL or, you know, it's like a love-hate relationship. Either for whatever reason they frustrate you as much as you enjoy either owning them or watching them. I'll start off. AJ Green is one of the ones on my list. Love the guy. I think he's an excellent player, but my God, is it always freaking something the last few seasons. It's either injury or, you know, just shoddy quarterback play. As good of a player as he is, I would say he's like top 5 wide receiver talent-wise, right up there with, you know, Julio, DeAndre, all those guys. I don't know if OBJ's in that anymore, to be honest, but like Antonio Brown when he's not when all his screws are in and he's got the right helmet on. But yeah, AJ Green is one of those frustrating guys. Do you got one?
Yeah. I got a few. Number one for me would be Julio Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always a big advocate for Julio. I had Julio on teams for a long time, but the last couple of years I've kind of shied away from Julio. And the epitome of like my love-hate with Julio is, I believe it was 2 years ago, where he had a 300-yard receiving game.
Mm-hmm.
He had another 200-yard receiving game that
Mm-hmm.
year. So like he probably won you both those weeks. But then he had, I think, 4 weeks that year where he was less than 5 fantasy points.
That was a weird season.
Yeah, and he ends up, I mean, he's the only receiver in the league that's gone over, I think, 1,500 yards, like 4 years in a row or something like that. The dude's absolutely amazing, but he can really be frustrating to own.
Yeah, and you got to pay a high draft pick for him, and you got to play him every week.
Exactly.
So sometimes he's the reason you lose, and then, you know, there are those cases. He's also going to be
the reason you win sometimes.
Yeah, whereas, I mean, it's like that for a lot of players, but, you know, somebody like Keenan Allen, for instance, he's been struggling lately, but he's kind of, you know, usually you pay like a 4th or 5th round pick for Keenan. Maybe this year it was a little higher due to last season. But he's the type of guy who you could say for pretty sure you're going to get about 10 to 20 each week, and then every now and then he'll have those blow-ups where he gets you like 25 to 30, and it's almost more not better, but I don't know, it's more beneficial, I would say, to have a player like that, where you get that consistency out of. So I see what you're saying there. Another one, I mean, this is maybe I'm just talking Bengals, but Joe Mixon, he showed a lot of talent, but this year he's just been terrible. The Bengals last year too kind of inhibited his production. So although he's a great player, I mean, Mason can attest to it, he is a frustrating one to own. You own him in Dynasty, and I keep trying to pry him from you. So
I don't own him in Dynasty.
Oh, you traded him?
Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Traded him for Odell.
But yeah, he's one of those guys. It's more of a situation frustration. I mean, he's still young. He can land somewhere else, but he is a frustrating player for sure.
Yeah. I think for me, wait, I just had one in my head and lost it. But someone in a similar situation, although this year he's been all right to own, is David Johnson.
Yep.
Have absolutely loved that guy since he came into the league. He had that one, you know, probably the best fantasy running back season in the last, 7-8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, he's been hurt. He's been, behind a bad offensive line. And now this year he's been having a decent year, and then he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The last couple of years have been really frustrating with him. So that's one of mine that I absolutely love to watch him play, but kind of don't really want him on my fantasy teams right now.
Yep. I had him at the top of my draft board for a brief time, maybe like 3 weeks or so.
He was third on my draft list this year.
Yeah, that's what I moved him to.
Yeah.
That's what I ended up moving him to. But anyway, so I do own him on my MFL teams, and the only league that matters in the mixer. So he's on my bench right now. I don't think I'm gonna play him. They're saying,
I'm pretty sure he's already been ruled out this week.
Really? Well, when I
so.
checked earlier today, it said that they didn't want to play him if he was only 75 to 80% healthy.
Well, just a pro tip here. ESPN is real slow. Like Will Fuller, as of yesterday, has been ruled out for like probably the next couple weeks.
Yep. That's why.
And ESPN still has him listed as doubtful, so I can't even put him in my IR slot.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I'm hoping for big stuff from Kenny Stills this week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're running a little long on time, so I'm just going to wrap it up with one more. Aside from my entire roster this year's, which is frustrating to own, I feel like this happens for anybody, any fantasy player out there are always looking for that, like the holy grail on the Patriots, where it's, they score a lot of points, but nobody scores a lot of points for them, if that makes any sense. Like Brady obviously has been productive every year, and like Gronk at one time was, but you're always looking for that running back that's going to have that like random 20 touchdown year like Sony Michel did,
or like LeGarrette Blount did a couple years ago.
Yeah, or I mean, James White was really productive. He's kind of like the one consistent piece that you can somewhat rely on every week, but Josh Gordon this year, there's always that it's always the young receiver people want to get. I drafted Chad Johnson the year that he was on the Patriots, like in the 4th round or something, and he ended up getting less than 500 yards or something and like 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm guilty. I just picked up Philip Dorsett when I heard Josh Gordon was out. So frustrating. I love chasing it, but I've never caught it, so
right.
I don't know why I keep doing it.
That's a tough one.
Do you want to move on to the matchups?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so this week, I mean, let's start with your matchup. Where are you at?
It's me against Zach.
So, so you're projected for 154. Jesus. Zach is projected for 120.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Dalvin Cook projected for 24, McCaffrey for 23, and Josh Allen for 21. Are you super flexing Eckler?
No, not this week.
Okay. And then Zach has 24 projected for Watson, 18 for James Conner, 17 for Carson Wentz. I think it's another easy week for you. I think you're going to take it.
I never go into it looking at it like that. I hope it is. No offense, Zach. I hope your team just shits the bed this week and I can roll to victory, but I never take it like that. Dalvin plays the Redskins tonight on Thursday Night Football, and who knows? That could be a 5-point game. It could be a 0-point game, which would be a terrible start. So we just hope.
Highly unlikely.
I mean, I don't want to take anything for granted.
Come on, Zach. We need you to step up. All right. Next matchup, we'll check Jess and Anthony. Jess riding a 3-game win streak.
Mm-hmm.
She's projected to win 128 to 113. She's got Russ projected at 24, Rodgers at 20, Devonta Freeman at 14. Anthony has to scramble for a quarterback replacement, so he picked up Matt Moore. He's projected for 18. Trubisky's projected for 16. Aaron Jones is projected for 16. How do you see this one playing out?
This is going to be tough. Anthony is in a real tough spot right now. He's got so many injuries and a couple bye weeks. Jess also has Ingram on a bye, so that's not the easiest thing to deal with. But as of right now, with the way things sit, I just think Jess is a little bit healthier and her team's on more of a roll. I think Jess takes this one.
Call this a hunch, but I think Rodgers is going to come back down to earth I was talking with Anthony about how he was a below average QB in the league right now, and then he goes out and produces 6 touchdowns. So I don't know. I'm going to call that a fluke. I think Anthony, I don't know how he's going to do it, but I think he still finds a way to scrape and win this one close.
Okay.
Next up,
Jake and Sean.
Jake and Sean. Right now, Jake is projected to win 129 to 124. He's got Malcolm Thomas projected for 21, Chris Carson at 18, Cousins at 17. Sean has 21 projected for Kamara, 20 for Winston, and 16 for Gurley. How do you see this one?
I think Sean's going to take this. Jake's got a couple players I really like. He's got Michael Thomas. He's got Odell. But I just like Sean's team. I think Kamara plays this week, right?
Yeah.
And they're playing Arizona, so he should feast. Gurley's playing Cincinnati, so if Sean plays those two, I think he'll take this one this week.
This one's going to be close. I think, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if I had to take someone, I'd probably pick Sean. I like the names on his team better. Jake's players might be trending, recently to score more, but I think Sean does take this one. What do we got? Next matchup.
Mason and Danny.
Mason, Danny. This should be a good one. Projected to tie at 131. I'm sure Danny's not tilting that at all. For Mason, he's projected to get 22 out of Matt Ryan, 20 out of Stafford. How is he playing 3 quarterbacks?
Who? He's not.
Well, it says Matt Ryan, Matt Stafford, and Daniel Jones.
Oh, that's because Daniel Jones is the next highest projected player, probably.
Oh, that's weird.
But if you look at his lineup, Mason's actually sitting Daniel Jones. Feel like he's given up on that experiment.
See, this sheet is whack. Anyway, for Danny, he's projected to get 20 out of Brady, 19 out of Saquon, and 17 out of Rivers. Good luck with that. So, I think Mason takes this one.
I'm on the other side. I think Danny takes this one.
I think we've been opposite on every single one, except Sean, I guess. All right, important matchup for me. I'm taking on Matt. I'm projected at 118, which I'm not excited about. I got Lamar Jackson on a bye, also not excited about. So I'm throwing in Teddy, Steady Teddy, projected for 18. They have a good matchup though. They're taking on Arizona. So
true.
Jared Goff projected for 18. Keenan Allen projected for 14. Matt is projected to get 20 out of Fournette, 19 out of Julio, and 17 out of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
How do you see this playing out? I'm biased.
I see this as Matt winning. I think Matt wins this by 20 or more. And I think Rob is in the double digits this week. I think you're 99 points or less.
Man.
This goes along with my you not making the playoffs call, too.
Oh, man. If that happens, I might just broadcast 10 minutes of a black screen for next week's Mixer show. But that's going to do it. I mean, I'm on full tilt. How about you guys? We need all the luck we can get. Make those decisions. Don't follow Matthew Berry's advice. Don't follow my daughter's advice. We need to work on her takes. I mean, that's my plan. That's my mindset going into this week. I'm gonna take no prisoners, Matt. I'm coming for you. I don't know how. Kenny Stills is gonna get 40 or something. I'm gonna make it happen. Get right. I'm gonna go over 150. Calling my shot.
What combined in the next 2 weeks?
Matt's gonna go under 100, and yeah, I'm gonna be right back in it.
All right.
So I'm gonna speak it into existence.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks, guys. Let's get it. See ya.